You will not believe what I just found on my car. Good morning. Before we jump into the shop today and get working on the Evo, the guy that I was holding the open dump ETS downpipe for, he just isn't responding to me. New, this downpipe goes for like 600. I'm selling for 450. So if you want it, it's a pretty good deal. Shoot me a DM on Instagram. This build is about to get real. Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another episode of building the 500 wheel horsepower Evo X. So I'm pretty sure I have every single thing I need to get this build done now. The other day we went and picked up those, what all did we get? We got those little the caps for the coolant system, and we got the two little screws I need for the map housing. The oil feed line, the oil feed line came in, and then the oil drain little fitting came in from ETS. So I think the first thing I'm going to do today is get those coolant lines on the car capped off. We need to get some oil lines on. I think it'd be a lot easier to get those oil lines on with nothing on the car, like no turbo, no manifold. Let's go get these caps on right now. Really hoping that these are going to resist coolant and like really hot coolant. They're vacuum caps. I got it from Napa, as you guys saw. And the dude, I asked him like 5 times. I'm like, are you sure these are gonna hold up to hot coolant? He's like, yeah, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. And I am just gonna steal the clamps off my factory hose as long as they fit, as long as they're small enough. So one of those caps is gonna go right here where this long hose is sitting. I need to pull that off. Slide one of these caps on in place of that. Look at that, perfect fit. That is dope. All right, I'm gonna tighten that clamp up, and then the other one goes way down there. Can't really show it to you because my camera's kind of too big for that. Both of those caps are on for the cooling system. Now I need to make sure I actually got the proper size or the proper length screws for this map. Got it. All right, we are good to go there. I guess from here we start putting the turbo kit on the car. The first thing that is going to go on is the exhaust manifold. So it's going to bolt onto the head, and then the turbo sits on top of that. So the turbo is going to go on after the manifold. I know stock we got to pull off the manifold and then take the turbo off. This is the opposite. So we're going to get the manifold on and then probably get like the wastegates on, and then I honestly don't know. I've never done this before, so I am just learning as I go, but I think it's going to be pretty easy. The thing I am really liking about this setup, it's all V-band, so there's not really any gaskets. There's a gasket from the manifold to the head, and then a gasket from the downpipe to the test pipe, and that's it. There's no other gaskets at all. Let's get this exhaust manifold on, and it's beautiful. This manifold's very, very well made. I kind of got everything set up on here right now. Or maybe, I wonder if I can just put it on like this. That'd be super, super easy actually if I could. So if I can physically get this set up on the car how it is, I think I'm gonna try to set it up on there. Yeah, there's no way that'll fit. Not a chance. I'm gonna have to rip everything off and do it piece by piece. Ugh. Alrighty, number one, we gotta get this gasket back on here. So it's just a metal gasket, which I'm reusing. And then from there, we can get the manifold on. I am just reusing all the factory nuts and washers from the stock manifold on this ETS manifold. It'll all be the same. One thing I want to do before I get any farther, before I get this manifold all the way on, is get this oil feed line little fitting on to the head. I'm guessing I am going to use Teflon tape on here. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to, but I'm going to throw a little bit on there just to be sure that it's not going to leak. We should be good from there. This goes right where the factory oil feed line came out. So it's right under I believe it's right under the water pump. All right, so what I ended up doing, as you saw, I put the thread sealer on there, the thread tape, and I threaded it in there. I'm like, okay, this definitely isn't the pipe fitting. It's not getting tighter. So I called English, and there's supposed to be a crush washer on here, not thread sealer. So I pulled it back out. I tried to get all the thread sealer out of the holes with these little picks here, and I'm gonna run. I may have a crush washer here. If I don't, I'm gonna have to run into town real quick, grab one for this, and then we'll be back on our way. Okay, so I found a washer here up in the garage. We're back on track. Let's get this fitting on, and then we can get the manifold back on. I actually pulled it off. Get the manifold back on, and then wastegates and turbo. So easy to get this manifold on. My car ate a total of 2 exhaust manifold nuts, so I'm gonna have to find 2 other ones. Or I may have some actually. Found some. All right, I'm gonna crank that thing down. All those nuts, all 10 nuts with a 14mm socket or wrench, whatever I need. No. That ain't coming off anytime soon. Check out this manifold. That is beautiful. So the turbo goes here, wastegate, other wastegate. Yeah, that's dope. Would you guys agree? The next things are the wastegates. So these are dual tile. I think they're 44mm or the 38. I honestly don't even know. Whatever comes in the ETS kit, I guess. But I'm gonna get these wastegates on the car, onto the exhaust manifold. And then after that, we're probably gonna do the dump tubes. Should be really easy to do. All V-bands, super simple. They even welded the nut on the backside of this clamp. Come on, focus camera. Come on, Son, you're letting me down. There we go. So they even welded the nut on the backside of that clamp, as you can see. Yeah, that's dope. So what I'm gonna do, since the positioning of these wastegates depends on the dump tubes, I'm gonna get the dump tubes on right now, and then we can get these clamps tightened up. All right, wastegates are on, dump tubes are on, all the clamps are on. We just gotta tighten up all the clamps. The wastegate's hitting this little shield back there, but it should be fine. I don't want to pull that guard off. It's probably on there for a reason. So we got both wastegates on the car. We got the dump tubes on the car. Now the next step is to figure out how to plumb the wastegates to my Grimspeed EBCS. And I'm not sure exactly what my tuner wants to go where. So I'm gonna send them over an email and see if they have some sort of diagram they can send to me. But I want to get that figured out right now before we put the turbo on, because I feel like after I get the turbo on, then it's going to be kind of in the way to get all that plumbed up. If you know, then you know. I did do some reading online and I found this little diagram. Yeah, I don't really know because how they had it before. English is the one who installed this turbo kit on the other guy's car, and there's 4 ports coming out that all have hoses on them. So I'm definitely gonna wait for them to get back to me, but I can still get the turbo on. So I think that's what I'm gonna do right now, is work on getting this turbo onto the car. This little bracket right here, I'm gonna pull it off because it's kind of in the way of the intercooler piping's gonna run. All right, so the turbo's sitting up on there. Awesome. Let's run some lines out of the way. As you can see, it's a V-band, so it can move around. I'm gonna leave the turbo loose, it's clamped down here until I get the downpipe and the upper intercooler pipe kind of somewhat on, just to make sure everything's routed correctly or lined up correctly. So right now I'm gonna set the downpipe on. Kind of fun. It's like the final stages, I feel like. I still have to do an intercooler kit. Ooh, that is looking freaking beautiful. Okay, what's next? Downpipe. Before I get too far, I really need to get my oil feed and oil drain lines ran or on the car, like completely done, before I get the downpipe on. Because as soon as I get the downpipe on, it's gonna cover up this whole gap in here. So that's what I'm gonna work on right now. I'm gonna get the oil drain line on, the rest of it. The bottom part coming out of the turbo is on there. I just have to run it from the turbo down to the block. And then the full the oil feed line on. I just have to run the braided line up to the turbo. And then we can get the downpipe on. And then the intake. This piece right here, it's basically replacing that piece right there on the factory oil drain. So I need to pull that rubber O-ring off right there, throw it on here, and then I'm just gonna bolt that right to where that was sitting. What connects to this is this super nice braided line. So that comes out of the bottom of the turbo, and then that goes down to that fitting over there. And then the oil feed line connects up top where that tape is, and then to the fitting I put down there, right under the water pump, is this nice long braided line right here. This guy right here. So I got that little fitting on right there, and now I have to run this line from that fitting up to way in there, like by the dump tubes up in there. There's the oil drain. All right, well, the wastegates are on, obviously the manifold's on, the turbo's on, the oil lines are on. Last thing to do is the downpipe. Should we throw it on? 2 bolts on the bottom, bead band up top, and then my O2 sensor. I have to throw into the downpipe and we should be done. Actually, no, we're not done. We still have an ETS intake to do. So let's get this downpipe on. The only thing I'm really concerned about, check this out. Look where the dump tubes are coming out. They're coming out like right. I feel like it's gonna be right in the path of where the downpipe is gonna connect. You will not believe what I just found on my car. This 100% could have left me stranded like anywhere. Check this out. So when I did my tranny last, or had to drop the tranny for that clutch issue I was having, well, I must have not got this clip on all the way, because watch this. That shifter linkage, or the cable literally just falls right off that linkage, or the lever down there. So I must have not got that clip on all the way, because yeah, that is not cool. Holy shit. Either I'm gonna have to go run to the dealer, grab a new clip, or just figure something else out. So glad I found that. Anyways, the turbo setup is pretty much done. I need to run this intake, but as soon as I get the intake on, it's gonna really like cover up the wastegates down there. This is going a lot faster than I expected. So much faster. I guess the only thing I can do right now is sit and wait till English gets back to me. In the meantime, I'll do a little edit of this turbo setup. I guess there's not that many different angles for a little cinematic edit I can get while I turbo sit on the car. I'll update you guys in a minute when English gets back to me. I may just have to give him a call. He emailed me back a little diagram, so that works out perfectly. I'm gonna bust it out real quick on the Evo, and then I'll show you guys what I did. So they sent me this little diagram right here, and then you basically just tee off each of the connections for the second wastegate. It was already all done on that car, so I just had to plumb it correctly. Next up is the fun part. Intake, or the MAF, the intake, all that good stuff. It's really gonna button everything up. Should look pretty sick. Look how big this intake is. I think it's a 4-inch intake. So that is gonna go on the car. I still don't know which blow-off valve to run. I have a Turbo Smart and a Synapse diverter valve. I'll just probably throw one of them on and bring the other one with me. If they want to swap it out, they can. This guy should go on just like a regular ETS intake. I gotta figure out if I want to put all these lines under or some above. Probably all gonna go above. I'm just gonna leave everything loose, all the clamps loose until I get everything on. So I need another clamp for this. Put them all the same way. MAF wiring plugs in. Cool. Now we have a bracket or a little heat shield and a filter. So they have this plugged off right now. That's where the blow-off valve should go, but it's plugged, so I wonder if I should just leave it plugged. All right, that all looks pretty damn good. Everything's lining up really well. This is where my OCD starts to kick in, and I have to have all the clamps facing the same way. Not only that, they have to be like rotated the same amount. Super anal about that. I don't know why. Am I the only one like that? Okay, so the full turbo kit is on. The intake is on. We are done. Only thing left to do is the ETS intercooler, but I'm not gonna get that done today because I completely ran out of time. So I need to wrap up this video right here. Really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, and you made it to the end of the video, go down below, comment hashtag 500 WHP for 500 wheel horsepower. I'm gonna see how many people made it to the end of this video. Everything went pretty damn smooth today. There's a few hiccups here and there, and I'm still not quite sure if I have those wastegates plumbed correctly to the EBCS. I guess we'll see when we get down to English racing in about a week and a half. So if you guys enjoyed the video and you're not subscribed to the channel already, hit the subscribe button right up in the top right corner. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video when we get the intercooler on the car.